Hey everybody, it's Brian Haskins here, and I wanted to make a quick video. I know it's been a little while since I've made a video for you guys, but I've been in the process of moving, and it's been completely hectic. I'm actually sitting right now in my new office here at the new house. I still work from home, which has been nice, and it's been nice to really kind of get back into the swing of things. So today I made a really special video for you to give you some tips on negotiation. Now these tips have made me so much money over the last 5 or 6 years. And it's really, kind of one of the keys to my success as a real estate investor. As a wholesaler, you really need to know how to negotiate and interact with people to get the best deal possible. So I've just jotted down 4 or 5 quick little tips that are really going to help you in the future whenever you're negotiating with sellers. The first thing that you want to do is you want to build rapport. Building rapport is absolutely key. And what I mean by that is you need to get a good relationship with the person, make them feel comfortable and almost kind of like you're an old friend of theirs. And just by building rapport alone, you're going to beat out tons of investors. I mean, I've made offers on homes to where I get told all the time that my offer might have been a little bit lower, but they went with me because I had such good rapport and they thought that I was going to really follow through and I was honest with them. So that's a really, really, really big key whenever you're negotiating with someone, is make them feel comfortable and build really good rapport with them. The second tip that I want to tell you about is to ask open-ended questions and then be quiet. It's really, really, really important to find out as much as you possibly can. And if you're sitting there talking and asking all these questions, you're not going to find out as much. What you need to do is just ask open-ended questions, and just kind of let them, respond. And as you do that, you're going to, by letting them talk, they're going to reveal to you things that you'll be able to use in your favor later on down the road. Okay? The next tip is you always want to find out what the real motivation is. Now, you guys all know that I deal with a lot of absentee owners, probate, all these kind of things. These are all people that are in a situation most times where they're kind of in a bind. And with probate especially, this is a really good thing when you find out what their motivation is. Like a lot of times with probate or free and clear, they don't owe any money on the home, or they owe just a small amount. So in a probate situation, someone inherits a house, and if there's many heirs or people that are in charge of the estate, a lot of times people are going to want some money. So what you can do is you can figure out what their motivation is. Is it money? Is there lots of family members involved? What is their motivation for why they're wanting to sell the home? Let's say that it's money. You might be able to kind of figure out why they're asking the price that they're asking. Maybe because there's 4 or 5 people involved and they all want to make a certain cut of money. That might be the case. You can kind of use that against them later on. Not necessarily against them, that's a bad word, but use it kind of in your favor later on. You might be able to come up with some other creative ways to get them what they want. If they're, a lot of times people possibly in foreclosure that have some equity, they might just want to bring their house current or just get out from underneath of it, and you might be able to bring the home current and just kind of take over payments. There's a lot of creative things you can do once you find out what the real motivation is behind why they're wanting to sell. So that's the next thing. And you can also find this out most of the times by asking those open-ended questions and not just kind of going straight to the point and asking them why. A lot of times they're going to reveal a lot more information that way. Okay? The next tip, a lot of times whenever you're negotiating with homeowners, they're very unrealistic. Okay? So you need to bring them down to reality. And there's a couple different ways you can do this. I like to take comps with me, give them true numbers of what is selling for in the area, why it sold for that, and really compare apples to apples. A lot of times on the MLS you can print pictures off, Google Street View, Google Maps and all that stuff. Sometimes we'll have pictures on there. And you can also do like a seller's net sheet and show them, what they would get if they sold with a real estate agent versus selling to you. Talk about it sitting on the market for a long time. There's a lot of things you can do to really bring that seller down to reality and get them down on their number. You don't want to just give up if someone says that they want $100,000 for a home that's only worth $75,000. You just have to get a little creative on how you're going to bring them down to reality. And you want to do this in a fashion that's not going to make them really upset. You know, you don't want to just say, look, you're stupid for only for wanting $100,000 on this house. It's not worth that. You might be able to say, okay, I can appreciate that you want $100,000 for this home. I can't pay that, but let me just kind of talk with you a little bit about what your other options are when selling this home. And maybe, if they bring up selling with a real estate agent, do like a net sheet, which would have them selling their home at $100,000, take off commissions, take off, negotiations, usually like 5%. The negotiations usually come off. You can use a 7% realtor commission, 6%, whatever's in your area. Carrying costs, whatever the average days on market, if it's 6 months, carrying costs for 6 months, utility bills, whereas you could tell them that you would close immediately on the home or within, a few weeks, and they'd be able to save all that time and headache. If their motivation is they live in a different area, they don't want to drive up for showings and all that kind of stuff, tell them that you can offer them, basically cash and a quick closing, and they won't have to drive up and show the property to other people. You just need to find out what their true motivation is, bring them down to reality, and those are some really, really good tips that you'll use in the future whenever you're negotiating with sellers. And the last tip is another thing that I've told you guys before in the past. It's just a few simple little words that will really, really do a lot for you. And that is basically saying, is that the best you can do? And I've been on appointments where I'll sit and talk with homeowners, and I'll ask them at the end of the appointment, is that really the best you can do? Is it $100,000? That's it? And then we might not come to an agreement, but a week later, I go and sit down with them, and I ask them again, now, are you sure, is that the best you can do? And they might come down 5, 10, 15,000. I've seen so many different things happen just by asking those few little words. So make sure you're asking that to these people whenever you're negotiating with them. All right. So those are about 5 or 6 little tips that you can use. These are those things that have come across over the last 5 or 6 years in my own business. These are things that I use every single day whenever I'm negotiating with someone. So hope you really enjoyed these tips, and hope you enjoyed this quick little video. And there's going to be more videos to come. So make sure you keep checking your email. All right. Thanks.